Well, we are here. We're joining this morning. We're in the very spacious and airy Cuneo 417. Excited. David, I am smelling cinnamon rolls where it may be here. I'm just not seeing any. But you know, I can do without one of those today, I guess. Maybe Monday. So thank you all so much for joining us. We just wanted to dive into some quick introductions. But first, we want to thank the CURA team for you know, inviting us to serve as Friday seminar hosts and presenters based on the work that we do in the CURA Scholars Program. So thank you all very much, and we hope to make you all proud. Let me remain asset affirming, positive, and also just want to start off by wishing everyone a happy Veterans Day, especially to those that have served our country. We appreciate you, we see you, and want to make sure that you feel celebrated today. So happy Veterans Day to you. I'm Ashley Williams. My pronouns are she, her, and I serve as the Associate Director for Academic Enrichment here at Loyola. I've been a part of the Loyola community for the past 7.5 years or so. Started off my time here in residence life and made my way over to Student Academic Services, where I got to meet a host of characters and colleagues to partner with and work with. So I'm really proud to be sitting next to one of them this morning, and I'll have her introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. I love seeing all these wonderful friends and colleagues on the call today. It makes my heart smile to be with all of you today. I am especially privileged to present with my colleague, friend, co-conspirator, collaborator, Ashley Williams, and am thankful for the team, the leadership team of David and Jeremy Daly in Student Academic Services to lead this program. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the Director and Assistant Dean for Learning and Student Success. So going to have our colleagues on the call introduce themselves as well.
Love to hear who's in the room. So we'll get started. I see Carol.
Hi, I'm Carol Scheidenhelm, and I used to have an office right across the hall from David in the Faculty Center for Enrichment Pedagogy, where I was founding director. And I'm just so pleased to be able to be here today and share a little bit with you this morning.
Thanks, Carol. I see next on our screen, Jessica. Okay, Jessica, we'll come back to you if that's okay. We have a few special guests here with us too. They're going to come into the presentation a little bit later, but I'll have you introduce yourself now. So Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie Shimon. I'm a junior and a biology major and a neuroscience minor, and I'm a current scholar in the CURA Scholars Program. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. We appreciate you. Next, I see Eric.
Hi, Eric, he, him. It's good to be here.
Thank you for coming, Eric. All right, next up, I see Kenneth. Yes, thanks, Kenneth. Understand. Welcome, School of Ed. Thank you. Bridget.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bridget Colaccio, co-director of the Faculty Center for Enrichment Pedagogy, and I also teach in the School of Social Work and School of Education. Glad to be with you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, and Jessica, no worries. Yeah, I appreciate that, the listening, the multitasking, I completely understand. So thank you for being here with us today. Brandon, another special guest here with us this morning. Should you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brandon Folson. I'm currently a junior pursuing a degree in economics and legal philosophy, and I'm a proud CURA scholar.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. We're proud of you too. And then I see Christina.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina. My pronouns are she, her. I am the new Assistant Director of Academic Success and Bar Programs at the law school. And so Mary Bird at the law school sent me this information, and yeah, I'm excited to learn with you all.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. And Meredith and David, please feel free to introduce yourself. I see Jeremy, we have a colleague that we know as well, but he's connecting to audio, so we'll keep praying for him. But Meredith and David as well, feel free.
Hi, my name is Meredith. I'm a senior elementary education major, ed policy, Catholic studies and theology minor, and I'm an undergraduate research fellow at CURA. And I'm excited to hear more about this presentation. We always have great presenters for the Friday morning seminars, so excited to see more.
Awesome. Thanks.
Morning, everybody. My name is David Van Zijtveld. He, him, his are my pronouns. I am the director here at CURA. And so welcome to this week's Friday morning seminar.
All right, thanks, David. We appreciate that. All right, all right, everybody. So we hope that today is going to be fun. We're in a good mood. So I want to start by saying that that helps a lot. Hopefully the presentation will be engaging and exciting. Feel free to throw up reactions, show us love over Zoom. We greatly appreciate it. But what we hope to do today is to just walk you all through a little bit about this experiment that we launched, the CURA Scholars Program. And then, of course, talk about it through the lens of, the importance of mentorship and why that relationship, especially between our student and, faculty and administrators on our campus is so important. We'll talk a little bit about the frameworks and how we got here and what we're doing. But we're going to go ahead and launch our presentation now. Just bear with us for one sec. Okay. All right. Go back. All right. So a little bit more about our agenda. Yes, I'm crass. I some of my language sometimes, but who the hell are these people? Why are they in charge of a mentorship program? What the hell do they do? Right. So what is the work? Why did they do it? What are you supposed to do with it? What we shared today, what impact is it going to have on you? We hope to talk a little bit about how we pulled it off, right? And then what the hell we're going to do next, right? With all of this that we're learning and seeing throughout our time with the program. So hopefully very conversational, but we definitely hope to provide some great takeaways today and spark some ideas in folks that are in the room.
So this is our leadership team. We came together back in the summer of 2019. Dr. Shauna Cooper Whitehead was the assistant vice president at the time of Student Academic Services. And we were trying to think of, we being Ashley, myself, and Shauna, were thinking about different grants that we may be able to apply for, because we had just recently lost the McNair grant, and that left a huge hole in our programming repertoire here on campus, and opportunities for our undergraduate students to participate in research. So we thought, what should we do? We came together. We were approached by the Foundation and Grant office and said, hey, this is an opportunity. And we shortly found out that Pearl and David were also thinking about applying for the Arthur Vining Davis Foundation's grant as well. And we got a room and we duked it out, and we decided, hey, let's not compete, let's collaborate.
I was this close to cutting off. I think I was gonna cut off David's ponytail. We were getting into it.
We were going some rounds. And out of that grew our proposal. We again identified the needs of our students through the absence of the McNair grant on campus. Ashley and I had also identified that our students of color were unable to participate in research opportunities because many of them were working and needed that income. Additionally, they didn't know how to approach faculty to get involved with research. So we really wanted to figure out how can we connect our students with our faculty and how can we develop this experience. Additionally, we were really focused on how are we going to provide a 360 wraparound approach, not only for our students, but also for our faculty. How can we think about new ways of collaborating with faculty, getting them to understand all of the things that we do in terms of student support, and how can we work with them? How can we impart our knowledge and our expertise in student support and student services to them, and then vice versa, how can they provide us with a greater insight into their work with students, mentoring in research labs across campus. So we all got together, and here is the team that are the starting five when it comes to the implementation of this grant. We submitted the grant Halloweenish.
Yeah, Halloween of 2020, right? I believe. Yeah, or no, 2019. Yeah, so around October of 2019. So those of you that understand grants or experience with grants, we're definitely talking about something that took place a while ago in terms of the implementation stage. So it's been an interesting ride for sure. But yeah, 2019.
And then we had this little thing called COVID hit.
Yeah.
And we had to go back and forth with the foundations and find out. And David really led this charge of negotiation with them. How could we still implement this program during a pandemic, what that might look like. And we said, hey, we're still in it. We still want to do this. And we earned the grant. We were awarded the grant that spring, summer of 2020. And we started implementation and started our program development the fall of 2020. And that's where we are. That's how we got here. That's how we got this team. And
so Betsy, let's keep it real too, right? Because we said, who the hell are these people? We're individuals that keep raising our hands, right? So we're folks, everyone on this screen. We're working at full capacity, right? Our roles didn't necessarily mean that we had to do this work. I think we saw a need based on the time that we spend with students, the relationships that we have, and the anecdotal stories or moments that will come our way, hearing from our students that they're looking for ways to strengthen their resumes, right? Looking for ways to strengthen their connection to the institution, looking for new relationships to foster, to help prosper new beginnings for them. And we're helpers, right? We're the individuals who want to take from what our students are saying and want to help them, right? So again, the absence of the McNair program really allowed us some room to be able to be creative, and having the grant attached to it as well just helped us find those resources and provided us the pathway to be able to get it done. But getting it done, we had to address capacity to do this work because we are for sure, when you look across, right? student academic services working with CURL, what were we like? Where was the synergy to be found there? How could we best work together? And I think what's happened is magical, and we definitely want to emphasize that collaboration and partnership is definitely the best starting place to bolster mentor programs and mentorship partnerships on college campuses. We should definitely not allow ourselves to continue to work in silos, right? Or to work apart. We built the bridge. It's okay that it wasn't there. We laid the foundation to be able to make this happen. So really proud of it.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to David because he has really mentored Ashley and me in terms of how do we do this? How do we bring in a grant? How do we administer that grant? How do we report on that grant? What does that all look like? And CURL's model of research fellowships and how they pay and structure their student research opportunities was the model that we used for our program. We really wanted to make sure that the monies got into the students' pockets, and CURL had a great model for that. And I just want to personally thank, on behalf of Ashley and myself, to David for his mentorship of us through this process. So
it's all around.
Multi-layered.
Yes, yes. And then Jeremy.
Or multi-dimensional, which we can talk
right,
about.
we're going to
later.
talk about multi-dimensional for sure. But Jeremy and Jesse were with us as well. You know, Jeremy is our numbers man. You know, so spending, how do we do this? We knew that a big component of this experience needed to be that we reward our students and also reward our faculty for being involved, right? Being invested. Another signature part of our program that makes us, I think, unique was our opportunity to be able to monetarily compensate students and faculty, right, for their time serving as mentors. Mentorship can be a voluntary experience in most spaces where you find mentorship programs developed. It's definitely one in which we see folks stepping in to give the extra time. It's considered service for faculty on most college campuses, right? Maybe on the tenure track or things. These are things that have to be fit into the work that's being done. So we want to make sure we rewarded people for their time. Yeah. Right. So good. That's the team. So again, just want to name, we have to thank our generous donor, which was the Arthur Vining Davis Foundations, and definitely want to put this name out there for folks. If you're looking for partnership, we've had a great time with the foundations team. We actually had lunch with the chief grant officer a couple of weeks ago, and just a really great opportunity to talk more about the program and to walk through the process with him. And there definitely is buy-in, and you know, I think they have an appetite for wanting to, you know, continue their relationship with Loyola and making sure that we're doing more work like this. So just wanted to give them a shout out because they helped us get here, of course. But what our goal was, right, is providing that historically underrepresented students with effective preparation for service, fellowship, and research opportunities. That was our goal launching the program. And so let's see if we did it.
So we named the program CURA Scholars because we really wanted to embody and embrace the concept of cura personalis, care for the whole person. I talked earlier about that 360 wraparound approach that we really wanted to support not only our students, but also our faculty. So in terms of our students, we really wanted to make sure that we weren't only just giving them research opportunities, paying them for that, but how are we including that and having them be thoughtful and intentional in terms of their academic planning and planning for the future. So we wanted to make sure that they had the academic resources, that they could maintain these relationships with their faculty and build their success, build their assets in terms of their academic and professional development here on campus and beyond. We were also looking at the Loyola community, and we really wanted to foster that sense of belonging. We hear time and time again from our students that we work with, especially our underrepresented, historically underrepresented and marginalized students on campus, that they don't have a strong sense of belonging. They don't have those relationships with staff, with faculty. So we wanted to make sure that we were providing them with the social capital in order to reach out to understand the impact that those types of relationships have and how to do that, because it's a skill and it's an art sometimes as well, knowing who to ask, how to ask, why to ask, and making sure that they have that and are able to develop that. And again, thinking beyond graduation. Yes, we hope that this program has an impact on our students and faculty that are a part of it, but we also want them to take the impact and the lessons and opportunities that they've had here on campus and translate them and transfer them to the workplace, to graduate school, to whatever their first stop after Loyola is. We want to make sure that they are prepared. I just got an email last night from one of our scholars asking for a letter of recommendation that's due, I think, this afternoon. So they know that they can count on us. And I am very thankful that I've had the opportunity to work with our faculty, work with our students. We've also worked with faculty in different ways. They didn't understand the roles that Ashley and I play on campus, and we've supported students in terms of midterm alerts, students who have gone MIA in their labs. How do we get them reconnected? How do we teach them that you need to communicate? And I think that was one of the first lessons we learned and one of the lessons that we needed to help and support our students with is that communication piece and why it's important in all aspects of this program.
And I think that's the important piece is when thinking about mentorship and what that means, that relationship or the act itself, we definitely need to uplift how to get it started, how to break the ice, right? And so what we hope to make clear is we use this as an opportunity to make that happen, right? So we had a bit of a controlled experiment here, a controlled group, right? One in which we would provide the tools to help our students approach the relationship, right? So we'll talk about, of course, how we did that, but breaking the ice is likely the first stage, right? Our students understanding what does it mean to ask someone to be your mentor, to call someone your mentor, how to seek it out, how to facilitate the relationship throughout. What's the frequency? What's the cadence? Like what goes into it? We created a program to help all of that happen, what we hope to be pretty seamlessly, so that our students can go out into the world and they will likely have a better, experience once they're out in the world having these relationships going forward. So we're hoping that we're cutting down on the likelihood of our students feeling like they can't do this once they leave the institution, now that we've given them the tools to be successful. And it's a holistic approach. Everything that we're talking about and we're doing with our students, we are looking at all of the aspects of their lives that we're hoping to touch and hoping to have an impact on. And again, that's heavy. However, mentorship in that way should have a holistic and full approach for it to be truly impactful and intentional. And so focusing on academics, their community, sense of belonging, and also thinking about their lives outside of this place, we had to take all of those things into consideration and determine how we would design an experience around all of that. So it was pretty.
Yeah, our goal was ultimately to remove the barriers
Mhm.
that we found were in place for a number of our students, especially our students of color, who wanted to get the most out of these experiences, but didn't know how to set it up, didn't know how to get it started. So you know what? We just teed it up for them
Mhm.
and we let them go to work. And they have definitely gone above and beyond our greatest expectations
Mhm.
in terms of the work that our students have done and the work and the mentoring our faculty have done.
Yeah. So just want to talk a little bit about the promises that we made, right, to individuals that were involved in the program. Being clear about our intentions was really important to us. And again, when establishing new relationships, we want to make sure that we set expectations, we manifest the things that we hope for throughout the development of that relationship. And so when we talk about our scholars, we do mean to talk about them in their mentee roles or identities. And when we talk about our faculty, we mean to talk about them in their mentor identities as well. But those terms are interchangeable, as you'll see throughout our presentation. But the first promise that we made is, right, we're going to help our scholars build upon those foundations. So in a mentor relationship, we're hoping that our students will be able to build upon their confidence as related to their academic interests. So a part of the program and the connections that were made, it was a promise that we would connect the student to someone within their academic neighborhood, their academic community, that would be able to guide them, right, to help bolster their confidence in their chosen field, so that they can be more successful and more connected to the work that they were doing inside the classroom and outside the classroom. We wanted to make sure that we focused on real social capital skill development. It's important. If students feel as though it could be as simple as this. If students feel as though they know someone important on campus, if they even believe that you have an iota of street cred, I'll call it that, right? If they think you can make something happen, or if you're moving and shaking, you're actually helping them feel more confident in return, right? Because you are now a part of their community and a part of their experience here at the institution. And so they count on you to be able to help them develop those social capital skills so that they can then, this is name dropping. Let's be honest, right? We tell our students it's okay to name drop. Let's think about the way in which we do it. But I'm working with faculty such and such in their lab, and I went to lunch. We go to coffee all the time. That kind of confidence building for our students is really important, and it signals to them that they're important, that they matter, and that they're cared for on their campus. And so extremely important for us in that foundation stage to be able to do that and give that to our students. And then paraprofessional opportunities, right? So in many ways, this is a job. We are leaning them into taking on some professional responsibilities, approving a time card. Approving a time card. Brandon and Natalie are here with us, and they are excellent at that. So I want to make sure I give them credit because they do that. But these are skills that we're helping them build as well. How to be responsible, how to communicate, how to
Ask for help,
how to set actual goals, how to note if you're reaching them, and making sure that our students were tracking their milestones, right, when they were actually happening, talking through them with them. And we'll share more about that later. But next, funded research opportunities. Again, we've talked about it. Why? It's just making sure that our students have financial support to be able to take part in initiatives like this. Oftentimes, we know that the choice that students of color, first generation students, and Pell eligible students have to make on their college campus is a choice between taking part in an enriching experience or having to likely work, right, to be able to afford their education or afford their necessities while they're in school. And so we wanted to collapse that barrier to make the decision easier, right, to join us, in knowing that we'll care for you holistically. We'll make sure that you're getting paid for your time time, but we're also going to make sure that you have a transformative experience with us. And so again, making sure that that was important, because most experiences provide a crippling choice for our students that oftentimes lead them to not taking advantage of opportunities like this. So that was heavy for us. You want to talk about the advising?
Yeah. So the last piece is really the advising and mentorship. And I kind of think about this in terms of people really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that really comes through tried and true in the model that we developed in terms of advising and mentorship, and the frameworks that we purposefully chose in order to guide our work in developing the advising roles that we play and the mentor roles that our faculty play. And it was really about empowerment of our students and empowerment of our faculty in order to develop these relationships, cure these relationships, and help develop that confidence and that success that we know our students and our faculty can achieve in these types of roles. So that was really our goal there.
Yeah, so the faculty mentor benefits, what did we promise them? One, we promised a thoughtful partnership, right? One in which we would help facilitate by pairing them with a student who was ready to be actively engaged in the relationship. I think that's really important that we created a process that allowed for our students, or required, to be quite honest with you, our students to have a thoughtful moment, right? What does it mean for you to take part in this experience? Are you ready for this experience? Are you ready to be transformed in this way by working with someone who's going to share in your academic interests, who's going to bring you along into their world, right? Into research, and to essentially help, help strengthen your understanding of who you are and what you want to be. And that takes a commitment. It requires a commitment. And so we wanted to make sure for our faculty that we were owning up to our promise to ensure that we were providing them with students who were indeed ready for this. And so that part for us was really important. Making sure that faculty mentors have that assistance. So just want to name, again, providing an honorarium. And yes, we put the number out there. We hope our faculty are not insulted, but it's okay. This was interesting for us. And I'll take a minute, and David could also probably chime in here if he'd like to, but we were launching and making our announcement for the program. And we said, we know we're going to find students. That won't be hard, but are we going to find enough faculty?
We were scared.
Yeah, we were very scared. Are they going to want to do this, or is it going to feel like too much work, too big of an ask? The times are interesting. We were launching the program in the spring before the return to campus even. So there was a lot of uncertainty and just things happening in the world at that time and in the work. And so we kind of held our breath a little bit, waiting to see. And even if that number was going to make a difference, right? If it was going to matter to our faculty, were we not giving enough for their time? We didn't know. We didn't know, because this hadn't been done before. We hadn't seen it before. And so the fact that we were able to offer an honorarium and name that, we saw hands shoot up, but then we also saw hands shoot up not because of the amount of money associated with the program. We saw hands raised because of the intentionality that was set behind for the program. The fact that it was going to be more of a facilitated full wraparound experience, one in which it would provide research assistance, which is great for some of our faculty to have that structured. We vet the students, right? And so they know they're getting good people to come work with them, but also that, you know, we would present an opportunity for faculty to be able to connect as well with one another. So yeah, 98 faculty signed up to be a part of this experience. We have to put that number out there. We had about 45 student applications to weed through, but we had 98 faculty submit applications to serve as mentors. And we were completely overwhelmed and humbled by that response that we received, but also equally like, oh shit, we gotta tell people no, or next time. That was also equally a little bit scary, but 98 folks wanted to help us launch something new, and it was incredibly I don't know, it was incredibly rewarding to have that moment.
Yes, it was. And we had faculty who said, I just want to be a part of the program. You don't have to pay the honorarium. If that is a obstacle for my participation, we ran out of students, and we would have run out of funds the first year had we done that. But it was definitely something that I think was unexpected. In fact, we had an administrator laugh at us when we said we were going to offer $1,000, and we were told by that administrator that we were not going to get anyone. It wasn't worth their time. And he ate a little bit of crow and said, you were right.
Yeah,
You were right. And we had a good chuckle about that.
Yeah.
But the last piece, not only are we providing these learning opportunities for our students, but we're also providing them for our faculty. So we had a faculty leadership academy. We met individually twice a semester with our faculty and did workshops with them to talk about their experiences, to share some of the frameworks that we had developed, and to provide them with development as well. So we really it was really important for us to make sure that it was a two-way street, that we weren't taking from our faculty. We weren't placing all these expectations, but that we were giving back to our faculty as well, not just monetarily, but that we were providing them resources, support, and new experiences and knowledge to support their work in their research lab with their current mentees and scholars, but also with future mentees and scholars.
Yeah, I think we had to ask in this professional development, were they ready to be mentors? That's always a big question, is how do you mentor? What are the best practices in terms of being someone's mentor? And what is our identity here at Loyola when we talk about mentorship? What frameworks are we using? What are we pulling from to define that experience and that role that folks can play? And so we use this lane, this professional development area, to get at some of that, right? To have those conversations so that individuals felt supported.
And we'll talk a little bit later about some of the discussions that we had with our faculty and how their development showed and how their identity work came into play as well when we talk a little bit more about some of our models.
Good times. So these were just some of the requirements again, and we share this more so just as maybe this is a takeaway for folks to, when asking for students or asking for faculty to participate in programs, it's really important that they understand what they're signing up for. What is the commitment that's made, and using that to kind of guide some of the work that happens. And so we laid out some of the requirements for our faculty. We just asked them for the year, but letting them know they can continue on over the lifespan of the grant. And then having that strong interest, we did name it. This program was uniquely designed around supporting BIPOC students, right? So Black, Indigenous, people of color. And so making sure that our faculty understood the population of students that we were looking to support and being in when it came to that kind of work, that DEI-based work.
And then here's some demographics of our scholars. So when we were recruiting our scholars, We wanted them at the start of the program to be at least sophomore, second year standing. We did look at GPAs and ask for them to share their GPAs. We had kind of thought about a 3.0, but we found that some of our students had below a 3.0, and we did not exclude them from this program. And it was really important that GPA and maybe some hiccups they might have had in their first year did not negatively impact them, because they talked to us about those. And we wanted to make sure that they had the academic support as they were coming into the program, to know that, hey, let us help you. Let us help get you connected to resources that you can reach your goals academically as part of this program. We definitely, again, named the population that we wanted to serve with this program. We wanted to serve our BIPOC students that have been historically underrepresented in higher education, who we know do not have the social capital or understand how to navigate these relationships. We wanted to set them up for success. We wanted to share our knowledge with them and help them make those connections. We did not expect for them to have a 10-year life plan in place. They did not need that, but we've worked very hard to help them, to help them navigate and think about their plans. We've had students change their plans because of this experience. We've had students who have said, hey, research is not for me.
That's beautiful.
And we had a student who was iffy, who is all about research now. This has given us the opportunity to partner with career services, with all of the schools and colleges, in order to help our students think about their plans for the future, to solidify their academic plans while they're at Loyola, to get the most out of their experience here, and to set them up for success for, again, that first destination post Loyola.
And again, mentorship is not about having everything figured out. I don't think we could have doubled down on asking for our scholars to have this 5-year life plan or 10-year life plan. I think we wanted them to be able to explore this relationship, not fully knowing themselves and what they wanted, so that they can then, have these learning or aha moments. I think that was definitely our goal with the program, is we wanted to see more of that happening with our students, because that's the rich work, is when we're able to notice our students having these learning moments or growth moments with one another. So yeah, we didn't want I know exactly what I'm doing. Actually, I think we chose far more students that literally went, I don't know, when we asked them what their goals were. We love that. And we wanted to invite them in.
And what's been so outstanding and amazing to witness are how our faculty have embraced our scholars, how they have gone above and beyond the mentoring relationship and have become sponsors. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later as well.
So just to talk a little bit about why mentorship why is it important? Why does it matter? And we were able to break this out, right? So the research that we conducted to complete the grant process, we needed to make sure that our ask was clear and that our why was very clear. And so the why is, one, mentorship has a direct impact on retention. So helping our students develop those positive, meaningful relationships with faculty and staff on their campus. The student is more likely to buy into the institution. They're more likely to feel connected, and that leads to the students' confidence in themselves and knowing their place is firm at the institution. And so when we talk to our students, if they're wavering in their belief of whether or not they should be here or if they belong here, I think something we make sure they understand is they're important to us. They're important to the Loyola community. They're important to their faculty. They're important to their staff. And because of that, they deserve our attention and our care in that way. So making sure that we talk about retention.
And we know the work of Aston, that student engagement
Mhm.
is so important. Students being engaged in research, which we know is a high impact practice.
Mhm.
These are all the things that we drew from in order to develop this idea of mentorship and what we want it to look like.
Yep. Mentorship is also important if you're connected to folks where there's maybe a likehood, right? Or similarities when it comes to career. Having early and consistent conversations about your professional interests, we believe can solidify your career choice, right? So this was pulling in the experts, our team and colleagues in career services to help us name the importance of mentorship and its links to career confidence and career development. And again, wanting to know when we talk about early, that was intentional that we named that because what we've seen, right, when looking across our institution at opportunities that were available to students to participate in research. We're not the only ones doing this work, of course, on our campus, but the way in which we're doing it maybe is a little unique because we wanted to start with students in their sophomore year. We actually pushed that back, something that we found to be a little bit more common across programs and initiatives here on our campus where there was a connection to research is this desire to maybe coach or mentor more senior students or seasoned students, right? So juniors and seniors, right? Because maybe there's a belief that they have more of an appetite, more time, more confidence in themselves and a readiness to take on such a responsibility as research. We though sat with each other and said, well, yes, true. However, let's lean in a little bit to understanding that our sophomores need something to aspire to as well. And they can be just as confident and they can be just as ready for the experiences ahead, but also what it could mean for us if we captured that attention just a year before the typical kind of standard timeline that these experiences are I think offered to students. What difference could that make? And we believe specifically here, it's that impact on career, right? So having that student who was a sophomore tell us, I don't want to do research, like this isn't for me. I really want to be more of a community activist. And that for her was a light bulb moment and one that she maybe wouldn't have come to until later in her academic career. And so being able to help her with that was important.
And the other thing we knew is the number of opportunities early in the first and second year for our students to have these research experiences were lower. Fire is no longer in existence. McNair was no longer in existence. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't, that we were preparing students for these later opportunities in their academic career and tenure here, that we started early and talked to them often about these opportunities in order to set them up for those later opportunities as well.
And then, of course, we know impact is great, helping our students really feel invested in building their affinity towards their institution. And then lastly, I want to talk about confidence and confidence on both ends of the relationship, right? That students were going to reinforce, or mentors were going to reinforce confidence in students, but also that students would reinforce a sense of purpose and belonging for our faculty, right? Saying that you are someone's mentor, knowing that you're playing an important role in someone's life, knowing that someone is counting on you and looking to you to help guide them. We believe that that's something that can help faculty retention and faculty sense of belonging. And so again, wanting to make sure all members of our community were well taken care of.
So as we started developing and thinking about the experiences we wanted our students and our faculty to have, we, especially me, came back to the foundation that I had with asset-based community development and that theory that was and practice that was developed by John McKnight and Jody Kretzman at Northwestern University. And I had the opportunity to work with them for quite a few years in terms of asset-based community development and thinking about how the glass is half full. We all have strengths, we all have assets that we bring to the table. And we looked for frameworks that built on those assets in our community, in our people, so that we can help strengthen them and help focus them towards their ultimate career goals. So the first framework we looked at and we incorporated is appreciative inquiry, which is a organizational change model that looks at strength-based. It's a positive approach to leadership development and organizational change. And for us, we are developing leaders. We are developing our students as leaders, and we are developing our faculty as leaders. And we want to make sure that is also changing the organization, because we are changing the organization in terms of how we think about students, how we treat students and faculty, how we bring them together, and what that looks like. So that was really important for us. And appreciative inquiry really asks people to explore their strengths and successes that exist both internally and externally. And it reinforces relationships and culture, helps to create a common vision and direction. And it really is about promoting learning and innovation. Now, those are all the things that we were trying to do in this program. And you can see the model here on the screen, but I want to go quickly through it in terms of define. We always were, what's the end? What's our end goal? Thinking about the end. What the hell are we trying to do here? What do we want this goal to be? And then thinking about discovery and asking that question, what are our strengths in terms of our students and our faculty?
And us as a leadership team,
absolutely,
the organizers of this experience, our assets in student academic services and student success work, and then the assets in CURA, right? And their understanding of how to develop fellowship programs and making strong, impactful relationships with faculty. So it's, again, even our strengths coming into play.
Absolutely. And it allowed us to dream. And we dreamed big when we went after this grant. We had no idea what was happening or how we were going to make this happen during the pandemic, but we got it designed. We figured out what we needed to do to make this happen. And then we've deployed. We took that action. It's also deploy is also sometimes called destiny. And I think it really was our destiny to bring this program to life and to work together as a team and to see these mentoring relationships start as little baby seeds and really blossom and grow into some amazing relationships that you will get to hear from our students later on. The other framework that we utilized was appreciative advising framework, which is harnessing the appreciative inquiry and positive psychology frameworks to really increase advisor, or in our case, mentor and student success. So it's intentional, collaborative practice of asking generative, open-ended questions that help students optimize their educational research experience and achieve their dreams and goals and potential. We also can, every time I say mentee in this sentence, we could also say mentor. So thinking about how we disarm, how did we disarm both our mentees and our mentors in terms of developing that relationships? How do we help them discover the opportunities to learn about each other's strengths and skills and abilities? Allowing our mentee pairs, mentor pairs, to dream about what this research experience was going to look for them, They designed it.
Right.
They came up with their research proposals during the fall of their first semester working together, and then they delivered them in terms of that research experience during the undergraduate research symposium.
Yep.
And then we start all over again. We don't settle. We continue to grow and develop, and now we're in the second year.
Yeah. I think also what I'd love to add quickly is that disarm portion. I think that's a pretty critical stage of the mentor-mentee development. It's in there, right? Figuring out how to really address the relationship, because mentor and mentee, we're already talking about authority, right, assigned to those identities and those titles, right? So how do we help our students see our faculty? And we're going to move into talking about like 3D, understanding we're just people. To be clear, we're just people, but disarming this idea that this relationship had a hierarchy, or that there was authority present in that space as well. For us, mentorship and that relationship, we have to start by disarming. That belief.
And again, making it a two-way street, that this is not just about the student, but also about the faculty and how we can learn from each other. And I think that really shows in our next slide when we, one of our first, oops, is this it? No, where'd our mom go?
I don't know. We running with it.
We're gonna go with it. We had a go with it.
Yeah.
We have a 3D model that looks at the student as in terms of their academics, in terms of a student, in terms of their personal experience, their family, their work responsibilities, all of the extraneous things we have to deal with, but then also in terms of their professional development. And then the very middle of that is this CURA Scholar experience that we want our mentees and mentors to have. And when we introduced this model to our mentors, it really resonated with them. And they talked about their identity development, how they may be a white identifying individual, a parent identifying, and how to not come off as a parent because they have children the same age as their mentees, and how do they create this relationship, thinking about the multidimensional aspects of our students and what we're trying to produce in this program in terms of outcomes for not only our scholars, but also our mentors.
Yeah, it was just really important. I think this was one of the best conversations we had at the workshop with our faculty. We were able to talk about this because this is how we set up what was going to be the ebb and flow of the mentor-mentee relationship, right? We needed to set this up as early as we could because we have to track the lives of our students, right? So when talking about mentees, we needed to make sure that we named all of the different things that our students are navigating as people while they're here with us at the institution. They are focused on their financial responsibilities and what does that look like in navigating different jobs or different schedules, right? They're navigating their professional development, they're navigating at-home responsibilities and personal responsibilities. Their mental health is a responsibility, their well-being is a responsibility. And then, they're navigating their academics and all different types of things. And so making sure that we're talking about this and also then identifying who the mentor is and all that they are as well, so that we're not limiting ourselves to the roles, but actually seeing each other for people.
Yeah, we really wanted to provide space for our faculty to assess their mentors' identities, as Ashley said, along with their own leadership styles.
Yeah.
We wanted to have the mentors explore salient topics to their mentor and mentee identity development, what that looks like. We wanted them to have the opportunity to deepen their understanding of inclusion, equity, diversity, and belonging. Belonging is really an important piece to this that we really wanted to emphasize. And we wanted to identify practices with our mentors, and that we spend a lot of time having the mentors share their experiences and talk about so that they can strengthen the scholars' sociocultural and academic assets. So those are all the things that we have tried to do in those faculty leadership development programs and in our Univ 101s that we, or 102s that we had for our students.
And we're going to move through that quickly because we want to leave some time for our students to talk. But when we introduced this idea, we knew that we needed to create a little bit of a structured or controlled experience for our students so that they could absorb all that we were trying to impart on them, right? So not only from the research side of things in their mentor relationships, but also in relation to their academic growth, their professional growth, their personal growth. We again, 360 approach, holistic approach to ensuring that they were a part of a signature experience here on our campus. And so we walked our students through some pretty significant, I think, traditions as it relates to research. So any researchers out there, right, we had our students go through city training because we needed them to understand the important steps that it takes to conduct research on college campuses, but also that gives them that social capital, knowing that they've completed this certification, right? And that most of their peers maybe have not gone through an experience like this, but again, it gives them something to list on their resume and so on and so forth. So that connection being there was super important. And then just so many other things that we did, our culminating project and what we guided the students through. Of course, we talked about topics that were salient to our students. We needed to talk about culturally relevant topics like navigating finances and assessing your career capital and making sure that our students knew about the wealth of different opportunities there. But the culminating experience was we wanted our students to be active participants in the undergraduate research symposium here at Loyola. We wanted them to contribute to that space. We wanted their work to be showcased and for them to have something that they can keep with them, when they were done with the program or really from year to year, being with us. I think that was important. So,
and one of the secondary outcomes of us seeing them on a week-to-week basis, which we're probably going to go back to next year because we found that this year we are not having the scholars come in for a more structured course like Univ 102. We are doing more of a seminar workshop based, and our attendance has gone down. So we are probably going to go back again, learning for us. But our students were coming to us in class having not eaten all day, knowing that they weren't going to eat until they got home that evening, after work, after classes, after picking their brothers and sisters up from school. So we very quickly learned this, and we put some of our funds towards providing food we always had food for our scholars during class. So we know that they got fed or had a treat, at least a treat during the day. We also had meal tickets that our students could ask us for, that we could provide for them if we knew they weren't going to be home until much later that evening, that they could eat in the dining halls as well. So that was unexpected to us,
Yeah.
but we quickly figured out how to make that happen.
Yeah, holistic support.
Well-being.
Well-being, yeah, focusing on everything so they could be great. So again, your role as a mentor is to focus on how to make sure your student or your mentee can be great, but also making sure the mentees understand how to ask for that kind of help or how to even express those things to someone. So yeah, the class helped with that for sure. And they got a grade. All right, we would love to at this time. You all heard so much from us, but I think we would love to spotlight two of our amazing and really dedicated mentees that have been with us since we launched this. So our pioneer group of students, but we didn't teach this class again, not because we didn't want to, but we had about a 85% return rate, well, really 100% return rate, because we had seniors in the program, they graduated, but all other eligible students wanted to come back to the program. So we did not have any room to actually welcome new faces to the 2022-2023 cohort. And so because of that, we wanted to give them a little bit more independence to be able to navigate their relationships this year and their experiences this year. And so we have two that are with us that have been with us since the beginning, our pioneers. So Brandon Folson and also Natalie Shimon are with us. And so we really look forward to them just coming forward and talking a little bit about their time in the program. And you all, we really would love for you to impart just maybe what this experience has meant for you. How has it shaped your Loyola experience as a whole? And what will you take with you when all is said and done? Because we know you all are scholars on the move. So I'm actually gonna, so what we're sharing here, Brandon, this is actually, Betsi pulled out Brandon's research presentation for the undergraduate research symposium. So Brandon, tell us a little bit about yourself, the work you did, and yeah, that piece about belonging to the program.
Certainly, and thank you for having me. Well, like I said earlier, I am a junior. I am majoring in economics and legal philosophy, and I'm also, as you can see from the poster board, I am a member and I'm an enrolled member of the Lakota tribe, specifically of the bands of the Hangtwin, which is known by the federal government as the Yankton Sioux tribe, and of course the Oglala. Most of my family is either out of Lake Handies or Wounded Knee. It seems to be a lot of people know Wounded Knee, so that one seems to be more identifiable to people. And my mother had moved back to the reservation a couple of years ago. And of course, I have other family members still living there. And there's a huge disconnect between, or there's a huge challenge regarding economic development in reservation territory. So when my mother moved back to the reservation, this became a priority for me. So this is kind of why I chose to study economics at the university. And coming into the CURA Scholar Program, when I proposed this as a research topic was really important. It really made a difference in terms of how I was able to approach the work. And my mentor, who is Dr. Tavis Jules, I would describe that relationship as academically nurturing. I mean, he has been effective in introducing me to research methodology and philosophy. He has kind of guided me through the process with new ideas. He's been able to critique my work and research in a constructive and thoughtful way. And in general, as an undergraduate student, my participation in the process has expanded my understanding. And I would say the importance of research to solve the type of problems that people in my family are facing on a day-to-day basis. So, I mean, it's been an incredible ride. I'm very proud to be part of the program. I have taken a lot away from this program in terms of value. It has also changed the direction the path I was originally on. I originally had it in my mind that I would be able to just really get an MBA and use this to work on economic development projects with the tribe. But through doing the research, through developing more relationships in this particular field, I realized there's two things that you need to know. You need more than business management. You really need to understand economics itself, and you also need to be able to understand in the framework of the law. Everybody knows that the reservations or the tribes themselves have a special legal status, and so really understanding economic development in the context of that legal framework is important. So ultimately, and after some nudging and after some discovery, and I think that's another important word that I want to use, is that the CURA program has allowed me to discover new things and things that are taking me closer to my goal. But you need to know law. So now I'm going to try to pursue a dual JD PhD program post-undergraduate. And I really have all of that to attribute to this program and to my mentor relationship. All right, I'll ramble, so I'll stop with that.
Brandon, we were over here hyping you up on mute though, but you are excellence. Like even without this program, we know you would be doing such amazing things here at Loyola. But we were back here hyping you up. You're like, you need to be a Friday seminar presenter,
Present your work.
to present your work, your passions, and also how the institution can better support you so that you can go to your community, right, and do good work, transformative work, right, the work that the institution wants you to do when you leave here. So like we want to continue to pour into you. So thank you.
Brandon is exemplifies the ideal of service to others. And I applaud him and his work. And he's also a foster parent, and that is amazing. So you really embody that value of our institution. So thank you, Brandon.
Thank you. And just may I add, in relationship to that foster parent, I'm a foster parent under the ICWA, under the Indian Child Welfare Act. And that is currently up for debate in the current Supreme Court. So I don't know what anyone can do, but if they're interested, certainly I encourage everyone to look into that and to support legislation that is in favor of the Child Indian Welfare Act. I just had to plug that since you.
No,
absolutely.
Please, yeah. And let us continue to help you as well. Next up, we have Natalie. We would love for you to come forward and share a little bit about yourself as well.
All right, thank you so much. Wonderful job to Brandon. I mentioned earlier, hi, I'm Natalie Shimon. I am a junior. I study, my major is biology, but my minor is neuroscience. I'm Middle Eastern. My parents specifically are both Assyrian, and they both come from Iraq. They're both immigrants. Refugees specifically. They escaped the war during the time of Saddam Hussein. They came when they were about, I believe my father was 16 and my mother was 21. They came during different times due to different circumstances. But they came to America so that they could give themselves and future generations a better future. And I mean, they did that. I was born in 2002. And unfortunately, even though they came here, they weren't given the opportunity to experience college. They either didn't have the funds. I know that my mom, when she was 21, just came here and just started working like hour after hour, had to take bus to commute, like, etc. And I remember when I was younger, they worked so incredibly hard to like send me to like a good school and to provide me a good education. And when I came to Loyola, it was obviously during the time of COVID. I was a first generation, I am a first generation student. Um, and I remember it being a very difficult experience because, and Betsy and Ashley actually touched on this, there's such a social capital is so important in college. And I found, especially during the time of COVID, it was incredibly difficult for me to acquire it. And I just didn't understand the basics of it. On top of that, I remember for my freshman year, I had to work like 20 hours, 20 plus, like up to 30 hours a week, while doing 18 credit hours just to pay off my my tuition and like my loans and stuff like that. And my parents were also experiencing a very difficult time financially as well. And so when the CURA scholars popped up in my email, I instantly recognized that as a wonderful first step towards my education. And I took the offer, and I went to the seminars, and I got paired up with Dr. Daniel Kavanaugh. He specifically works in neuroscience. He works through circadian rhythmicity. And so through my education, I always struggled between like, I was trying to figure out whether I would find biology or neuroscience more fascinating. And I was put obviously into a neuroscience lab. And in being placed in a neuroscience lab and working with circadian rhythmicity and like fruit flies, and just I like instantly connected with it. And I've actually had many sessions with Dr. Kavanaugh discussing future aims to like pursue research in neuroscience. Obviously, I've had history in neuroscience, like on my mom's side of the family. My grandma had Alzheimer's, and that is also a large portion of what I want to pursue when I'm like older. But this instantly put my foot in the door. Like, it allowed me to connect with a faculty member. It provided me with funding so that it could be possible for me to pursue research regularly. And yeah, it genuinely paved the way to my future. Like, I was talking to my professor, and I was like, if not for this lab, I would not be pursuing a PhD in neuroscience. I would not have these goals set up for myself. Obviously, like I knew some aspect of my future, but this put it in stone, and I'm eternally grateful for what this program has given for me. And yeah, just yeah.
Natalie, youarethebomb.com. And Natalie has brought us more scholars to the program.
She's our best recruiter.
She is our like on the foot, on the ground, feet moving recruiter for us, knocking on our office door. It is hilarious. They're like, we know Natalie, and we hear you all have paid research opportunities, and we want to work with Dr. Kavanaugh, or we would work with Dr. Rubin. Like, it's so funny. So Natalie she is our spokesperson, and we're eternally grateful for you, but we're so proud of you. Just hearing that you cemented such great life decisions based off your participation in this program, and you have the support of your faculty to help get you there. So that's all we want to see. That is all we want to see happen.
She embodies the academic excellence and that career development, social capital development, identity development that we've talked about throughout our session. So thank you for sharing, Natalie.
All right, and we'll be quiet now. We know we didn't leave too much time. But yeah, we'd love if there's questions or open discussion. Or David, I know you're going to take it away too.
Well, I'm just going to say that there are some really helpful connections that both Carol and Bridget, shout out to the past and present SEIP connection, about the work that is being done by the students and faculty and all of us on this CURA Scholars, the connections to some of the Jesuit apostolic preferences, and also the sort of key elements of a Jesuit university. So I just want to make sure you all saw that. We'll be looking to make an article out of one or both of those.
Yeah, and I did not talk about the Ignatian pedagogical paradigm was also a huge framework. And I did not mention it because of time limitations, but it is one of the frameworks that we drew very heavily from in terms of our work as well.
But I'll
So
throw it
thank you,
open.
Bridget, Carol.
Yeah, I think that's the next bridge to,
Yeah.
to help get us there for sure.
Other comments or questions for Ashley, Betsy, or the students? I will jump in and just say that I want to echo just how proud we are of our students, those that applied, and even though those that applied and were accepted, those that applied and we didn't have space for, but as Betsy and Ashley noted before, just so flattered and proud and honored to be able to call so many faculty or colleagues that stepped in, and honestly, it kind of overwhelmed us. So, Bridget.
I just wanted to say hi and congratulations to everyone who's been working on this. And it's really exciting because, I worked sort of in some of these areas years ago when it felt like sort of a scattershot of trying to support students that were sort of most in need of extra support, extra direction, sort of extra understanding, and like being seen more for their for the obstacles that they were facing on a daily basis. And so it's just really amazing to see what a kind of robust, coordinated, resourced program can do, and so it's just really exciting, and to sort of know where we have been coming from and imagining that this is like the beginning, hopefully, of more things to come to even expand on this. It's just really exciting. So I'm so happy for you all, and I'm so happy for the students with what they receive, but for the engagement of faculty and staff, it's really cool. I don't want to say I'm proud of you all because that feels weird, but I am. It's exciting.
Thanks, Bridget.
Christina?
And we'd love to talk to you more about
and
connect more. Yeah, just the beginning for sure.
I just wanted to thank you all for this presentation. I'm not turning my camera on because I have a newborn in my arms. But I really
feel the show.
What was that?
That's mommies.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a 7-week-old. But I wanted to say thank you for this presentation. Like I said, I'm a new assistant director for academic success and bar programs, and a big focus of this program at the law school is to really connect with the underrepresented, marginalized students. And so not that, I don't see us having this type of program at the law school, but it gave me a lot to think about in terms of how to work with students to talk with their professors and feel more comfortable interacting with them, because that is a large problem that we find at the law school, and that I found while I was in law school at Loyola. So thank you.
Let us know if we can come and talk to your students or talk to your faculty. We're happy to come and share what we know and how to build those connections and those communication pathways. So let us know how we can help.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. I'll make sure I get your information. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, we are at time now, and I want to give Ashley and Betsy the last, minute, 45 seconds to wrap it up. But I will say thank you to you both for today's presentation, to Natalie and to Brandon for joining us. And it's what makes this place a good place to work when we have these kind of partnerships. But to you all, to close us out.
Yeah, thank you, David. I just want to say thank you for everyone on the call today. Thank you to Brandon. Thank you to Natalie. You know, you all just you doubled down on everything that we shared for the first portion of this. And so if anything, we likely should have done this in reverse and let you all go first because you're sharing what it is, but just wanted to say we still have more work to do. So this is not you know, finished. You know, maybe we'll come back and talk a little bit more about where we go from here and what's next, but we've learned so much and it's impactful work. And if you have the time to do that in your roles here on campus, we wish that for you because we've had that opportunity and it's very rich and it's been great.
What's been awesome for me is we took a risk. We were vulnerable and we continue to take risks. And we hope we are modeling that for our students. And as I see them take their risk and be vulnerable in their learning and their growth, I am in awe and continue to be inspired by our students. And that's why I do the work. And they continue to hit it out of the ballpark and go above and beyond. And for that, I am internally grateful that I get the opportunity to, I'm going to get emotional, to work with this team and work with these students.
Well, it's an honor and privilege to have you all here today and to be colleagues here at the university with you all. Thank you all for joining us today. This is recorded, as I remembered to hit record. This is recorded and we'll have it up. It usually takes a week or two for us to kind of edit and put it up, but it'll be up shortly. And if you have any questions, do let us know. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Teresa,
Yeah,
thank you.
Teresa.
Thank you for
Thank you.
getting this all put together. Thank you.
Happy Friday.